are going to moderate the discussion. So it means I will be asking you questions and you will be responding. And in case the audience also have something to add to any of the response, you can just raise your hand so that we'll give you an opportunity to say something, do you understand, to contribute to the question in particular or in consideration. So that's what we'll be doing here basically today. So are we ready for it? So we are going to discuss a section of the Constitution, and we look at that section of the Constitution, and we felt that that section of the Constitution needs to be worked on, because we look at it as a source of conflict in our political system, most especially the political parties. Because we look at the issue over time, we discover that political parties doesn't have internal control system. And what is giving the reason why this political system or political parties don't have this internal constitution control? Rather, because we discover that often at times we see political parties in crisis, and then people start campaigning on account that the party is not stable, and there are crises in the party, and then they give so many reasons why they are campaigning, and then it affects party loyalty, and then the ideology of the party is also not followed. So we felt that these parties are formed based on ideologies, and people join those believe and welcome those ideologies. So why is it that over time we see politicians moving from one party to another in their own party? Because whenever they move, they cite that the party is in crisis and they cannot be there. And so we look at it and we discover that the genesis of this problem is from the Constitution. So, and that's why we want us to discuss this issue so that we can look at it. Because in the Nigerian Constitution, the constitutional provision allows politicians to decamp to another political party when primarily they found that there are crises in the party. You understand? So in section 68 of the Nigerian Constitution, 1999 Constitution as amended, the section outlines the condition under which a member of the National Assembly, that is the Senate or House of Representatives, can defect from their political party without losing their seat. And you have seen over time that no one has lost their seat. Why? When they decamp, nothing happens. They stay in their seat and continue. But under normal circumstances, they're supposed to, like, as you decamp, they will get. But they decamp and retain their position and their seat. So what happened? They cite crisis in the party. And then it's justified by the Constitution. So this is the issue we are discussing here today. And I don't know whether you welcome this discussion, sir.
Thank you, we do.
It's all right. So now, some of you actually are working closely with the politicians, and I believe that you're going to make your statement in such a way that you not be accused after it. So make your statement in such a way that you'll be able to defend it after here. Because they say we have seen you, you were in the meeting, you were discussing, and you know where we meet. I get the point. So let's. So we gave some guidelines or points of discussion We talk about defection, deal with division. It's one of the key points that we talk about. We talk about also change of parties, talk about ideologies, talk about political opportunism. We talk about fragmentation of political parties or landscape. We talk about impact on the voter trust. And we look at the ideological fighting. So these are the things that we're considering. And we have 10 questions that affect all these points of discussions, and we are going to look at them. So, like I said, once a question is strong, you have 1 minute to respond, and then you pass it to another person to share his or her own perspective. Share your own perspective. It doesn't matter what somebody is saying. Say your own opinion, because in conflict resolution, we believe that people should say what's in their mind. Say it the way it is in your mind, right? By giving you the opportunity because you are in a conflict institute, conflict management institute. So say it the way it's in your mind, without being afraid of anybody. That is if you are not afraid of being, penalized by maybe some kind of political association or whatever. If you think there's such caution that you need to put in place, then put the caution so that you'll not be victimized anywhere. But if not, respond like we have a platform to respond. We want to solve a problem. You understand? So be free to respond. That's what we encourage here. So Janet is going to start with the discussion. She will ask the first question, and then we'll start from there with this end. And so once it gets to me, it means I'm going to ask the second question. And then we'll follow this way. When it gets to us, we'll ask the third question, and we'll continue like that until we are done. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Joshua Tambule. Thank you, viewers and inductees. We appreciate you, and also to the panelists. Thank you for your time. We sincerely appreciate you. So, Ambassador Joshua has laid the foundation for this panel discussion. So, straight away, because of time, I'm going through the questions. So, the first question to our panelists is: how do you perceive the impact of the Section 68 on the political culture in Nigeria? We've had a topic, we're talking about the Section 68 of the 1999 Constitution. Now, what we want to hear from you is the impact. What do you think that impact makes on the political structure in our country, Nigeria? Thank you.
Let me speak on this from my own angle as a serving permanent secretary. To be frank in all this, I do not think the Constitution is the problem, and it has never been, and it will never be. If you look at the 60 form of government, we started with the British written constitution, the parliamentary system. Oh, we said, one of the reasons this whole thing didn't work is because they have two competing heads. I'm talking of Mr. President and the Prime Minister. We said, no, the American system is better. That in that, Mr. President can handle all issues as they come up. On taking fully along the presidential system of government, that of America, not sooner or later, in just how many years? The first 4 years, they started another song. Mr. President is too powerful. You cannot entrust so much power on Mr. President. We need to decentralize. Well, in all this, it is not the Constitution that is faulty. It is those that is practicing it, using it to work. Because almost all of them are selfish. The executive, the legislators, and when the House member becomes from a minority, emanates to a ruling party, the ruling party will shield them because they have the power and the might. Now, when that happens, presidents are very easy to say. People will always make reference to it. When you have a lot of persons transferring from the opposition party to a ruling party and nothing happens, so also when those in the minority now cross carpet they themselves, they wouldn't have reasons to do otherwise. Like I keep saying, it is not the constitution. If you like, review it, rewrite it a million times, not until we start doing the right. I will say this here conclusively that all human beings are almost the same. We are all corrupt by nature.
1 minute.
Can I just wrap up?
Yes.
Okay, quickly. Now you recall in the last during Trump's last presidential election when he failed, he wanted to be like a true African. I'm not going nowhere. I was reading that, but it's
if the institution, the judiciary, can come up with a serious pronouncement, a punishment to those who don't obey court's judgment, I feel the politicians will not move from one party to another, because they are not just moving from one party to another. It's just for their selfish interest. I'm a politician and I have an in-depth knowledge of what is happening in the political space. The politicians are just there. I can say 99% of them are just there for their selfish interest, which is very, very bad in Nigeria. That is the gospel truth. All of us will know it. They are there for their selfish interest. Sorry. Yes. All your information is noted. So I have a view that one, the judiciary should try to strengthen things in Nigeria so that the politicians will not be jumping from party A to party B, and it would make them to have a serious impact on the society. Another thing is that I will encourage the politicians to always put the society first, so that it will have a serious effect on our economy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Please, can you turn the camera this side? Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. It seems some of us are not conversant with how conflicts start. So in conflict resolution, when you want to resolve conflict, we that teach or promote conflict, we say that we should find out the root cause of the conflict. Yes. So when you see, if I carry a lighter and light the bush, and then there is a bush of fire, then it's not because I am the cause. It's because there was the availability of the lighter for me to use to light the bush. That is the problem. You understand? So this is the root cause. I may be the cause as well, but the root cause is because there is availability of the lighter for me to use to generate the fire in the first place. Do you understand? So I want us to look at, narrow our mind down to the root cause of this problem. You say constitution is not a problem, but constitution makes such provisions that you can become when there's a division. So what do I do as a politician? If there's no division, I will create one. I will create crisis so that I will write on it and then get out. I may not be the one fronting it, but I can sponsor people behind to front it, and then I'll write on that and say, I am out because of the crisis. Because there is a constitutional reference that one made and say, this particular section of constitution say, I can become when there is crisis, so I become because there is crisis. Do you understand? So this is the root cause. When we are talking about root cause of conflict, we consider this as a root cause of conflict. There may be other factors, like the players themselves also using that avenue. So this we consider it to be a root cause of political destabilization. So if we are discussing this topic, have that mindset, have this mindset that, okay, this is the root cause. We are looking at the root cause of this conflict, not just what you are seeing at surface, what the players are doing, but where is the genesis of this problem? And this is where we are looking at. So when you discuss this topic, having in mind that we are trying to address the root cause of this problem. And the root cause, I can tell you, is this section of the Constitution.
Yes.
So let's widen our mind in discussing this topic so that we can have a better and elaborate discussion so far as this topic is concerned. So I'm going to question 2. And let's maintain our time so that we will not extend this discussion beyond what it's supposed to be. Question 2 says, how can legal provisions surrounding party defections be amended to promote political stability? How can legal provisions, including that section of the Constitution, surrounding party defection can be amended to promote political stability?
Thank you. I feel that it has to start from the judiciary, like I said before, because I feel if the issue come up at the judiciary and we take it up to, let me say, the constitutional conference, discuss there, it will have a better way that it goes. Again, we have to have I'm looking for a better word to use. We have to have a national conference on the constitutional amendment. By so doing, there are certain sections in our constitution that we need to amend concerning that provision, so that at the end of the day, it can work well. What I can contribute for now.
Thank you.
Thank you again. I see that part of the Constitution only created a window so that somebody will not die with what he claims to have believed in, the ideology or his perspective of the party, which probably attracted the person into the party. So if you're not comfortable and your life is being threatened, then you can just exit and survive. But however, now that we've discovered that it's becoming a problem for the system, I think the legal provision, as a layman, not the legal provision anyway, the legal provision may not come from the amendment of the Constitution, but the parties themselves should have put in some policies that if someone defects from this party, he should not just find an option so easily where he will now dive into and will be welcomed with both hands, be celebrated, and others will want to do the same. So the party should have policies that if you're no longer satisfied with us, then you're going home to rest. By the time you jump out and you don't find where to jump in, then you advise yourself if you should endure to solve the problem, or you jump out and go home to rest. And then the other party as well will also have a policy that someone who abandons his husband's wife should not just be welcomed into another home. You don't like that place, you're going back to your father's house, there is no room for you. I think if these policies are on in different parties, it will help to curb this just ease of defect that is already destroying the party stability and the system. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Continuing, I want to observe first that when it comes to amendment of the Constitution or review, the present Parliament, Senate, representatives, and the state level, which, as we know, like 90 or 80% of the members have been in more than 2 parties since this continuing democracy experience. They wouldn't help us because they do everything to defend themselves. Therefore, the issue that bothers stability and the welfare of Nigeria as a nation and every citizen should be taken to what I want to say, town hall forum. Ask the people what they want. If they rise unanimously from across the country with a motion or resolution, let there be no defection. Then the National Assembly, with the help of judiciary, be compelled, even though they say they have independence. None of these independence have been over time overtaken by one other thing or the other. The court should help the National Assembly or the presidency to make sure that this constitution is taken care of. For instance, the defection clause should be expunged, or otherwise refuse to make it this way. If you defect from your party, the next option for you to go as an independent candidate. So that you go and test your power, your acceptability among your people there. That is that. Number two is that the other part I want to say is that the what do you call it? Constitutional Assembly, what do you call it? Constitutional Conference. We are not in Nigeria. Separately, it has taken us nowhere. Public funds have been expended, and if they want to do another one, I can tell you, it is the same politicians who will appoint politicians who go to that hall. So we'll just be jumping from one fry pan to fire and back and forth. So let's throw this open to Nigerians. There should be proper awareness from the village, my village, down to your village, to let them know the importance of things. If we do, I hope Nigeria will have a better chance. So the dividends of democracy can be delivered and made to roll down to where the people should be affected and feel the effect of governance. Because you see, it is government for the powerful and the rich, and the powerful and the rich at the expense of those who could afford them. Thank you.
Well, let me take it very, very briefly. We all know that the members of the National Assembly, they have made the House their final retirement home. That's one. Two, the executive whom they ought to terminate. Lately, we discovered that when these executives have rounded up their rascality, their political rascality, they metamorphose, becoming a member of the National Assembly. So if you are waiting for them to carry out a review or rewrite the law to suit what we are craving for now, it will never happen. Like you already know, the judiciary is the common man's last hope. And to tell you how dangerous these politicians are, I mean the executive, by making their children, their wives, their cohorts as member of the bar. That when you try to say what is right, asking for your right, the first thing they will look at to kill that your complaint board is by bringing in technicalities. If you have everything, swing it to your end. So like I will keep saying, we have dirty politicians all over the world. But the last hope, which is the judiciary, the day they sit up to say, no, we should tell the stories the way it should be told, we may have solved more than 90% of our problem. Our problem goes back to those judiciary. They are our major issue. You tell them to tell you no, but it is not justice for sale. Not until we turn it around, we will never get anywhere. The life change will come a million times. We'll go back to where we started from. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our panelists for their beautiful response. We sincerely appreciate you for that. So moving on to the next question, we'll be looking at the long-term effect of frequent party switching on the Nigerian democratic process. So we know the present situation of things, which party switching, as we know, is very rampant in our political space. And most times, these politicians do not actually see the long-term effects, just like somebody said earlier, one of the panelists. He said most times they go there for their own selfish interest, and they do not see the effect it has. That's talking about the long-term effect it has on the democratic system and also the process. So I would love our panelists to talk to us on the long-term effect of this party switching on our political space. Thank you.
My take on this would be, one of the biggest problems we have, why these politicians see it as a free highway of jumping from one party to the other, is because of this lack of enforceable manifesto. If you watch almost all political parties in Nigeria, it's as if they copied one manifesto to the other. Everything, free education for here, free education for there. This one here, copy and paste. They all have common manifesto. If they have different manifesto like what we have in the West, if you say you are adopting socialism, if you come into power, why would you think a capitalist will not decamp overnight and become a socialist? Because when you do that, you are going to lose all your properties overnight. So you will need to protect your own, because you as a socialist, you can't live as a socialist and now become a capitalist, and you think people will look at you as a very serious person. But when you look at our manifesto, our political parties manifesto, they are one and the same thing. It's just little different. The change of their name, JPP, NLP. If we make them to say, look, give us a distinctive manifesto that speaks loudly on what you will give to us, that can save us a lot of money and time. Thank you.
Yeah, I highlighted the manifesto. I want to give us the point. The long-term effect would be long-term wait on the bench for delivery of democracy dividends. Number two, our political system and government will remain immature and unproductive.
Thank you. The event is that we'll be recycling the old bad hands in the hands of art. I'll be recycling the old good hands in the hands of good. But how do we justify these hands even if they are good and there are no better hands? So the effect is that we'll be recycling the same problem, because they move from here to there. And like one of us have just said, those who want to retire in there, we want to ensure that they move from one point to the other, depriving the youth, depriving other talents that would have helped the nation stay behind, and they keep occupying the space. So I think that effect can link on the oppression, the suffering, the disadvantages will be the experience. Thank you.
I believe the lockdown effect will affect the economy of the country. This is because, for instance, if Party A bring a candidate that was not performing, along the line, he moved from that Party A to Party B, he would transfer all what he was doing at the Party A to Party B, and the situation will still be the same. In the way that if he was not performing, like I said, he would also not be performing when he defected to Party B. So as a result, it will affect the economy too. Another issue is that it will affect the educational sector of our country, in the sense that when you brought in somebody that is not well equipped into a situation like the Minister of Education, so to say, and along the line, he is not doing well over there, he can never do well in the educational sector, and as a result, it will also affect the educational sector in our country. So the long-term effect of this situation is that we should avoid defecting from one party to another, because it will affect the society. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, we want to make sure that this discussion ends in time, so we are reducing the time for you to respond. You just respond as much as maybe 15 to 20 minutes at most, then we are done, so that we can go. I believe with 20 minutes you'll be able to say something so concisely, and then we are done. So now let's look at another question, but I want to agree with Mr. Washington. Here he said political ideologies or political manifestos are being written by the same people. I agree with you simply because I'm making reference to one of the former senators who was on channel television. That is Senator Stanley. So he said that all of these manifestos are written by the same people. That's when they move from one party to another one, or form a new one, they will be the one who still write the manifesto. So it's like copy and paste, just the way you have said. So I'm just trying to agree with what you have said, and it's true. So now let's look at the impact of this on voter engagement and trust on the electoral system. We are the voters. All right. So how does this affect us directly as a voter? How does this affect your engagement and your trust on the electoral system? For instance, let me give a case study of the 2020 election. Maybe some of you, next election, you will not vote because like your hope in that election was dashed. So as a result of that, you will be very skeptical on what to do. So does this defection affect you in any way as a voter concerning engagement and trust on the system?
Yes, it has an adverse effect on all of us voters, because when somebody that was not performing comes again and wanted to contest for an election, and you know that this person was not performing, I feel you will not like him to come up, and as a result, you will not have that interest to vote. That will also be transferred to some other persons who are in the society. They will not like somebody who is not performing because of he has moved from one party to another, and you know that he's not doing well. I believe it will have a very serious effect on voters, and it will reduce the voting strength of certain constituency to another.
Thank you again. You see, it's just unfortunate that a lot of voters were going to vote because of either personal attachments, what is being given to us, and all of that. But these voters are out to vote for credibility, to vote for integrity. Why would I vote for a prostitute? Somebody that don't know what he's standing for. Today you are here, tomorrow you are there. There is a man in the state where I'm coming from who has never won any election. Part of the reason is because at the point people choose to support him, before you know it, he will abandon the people and jump into another place. So this time when he came back, nobody said, this man, you can't follow him. He can't lead you anywhere. I think that voters, if we get this awareness, there will come a time that, no, this one, you are here today, you are there tomorrow. So whether I as a voter will stand for should be someone who is standing for what he or she believes, and then you're pursuing it, and know that this one is serious. So there is voters who are sincere to themselves and are really desiring a better for the nation. We look at every individual. How are you standing? What are you going through? How do you need to ensure things work there before casting their votes? So there is that effect.
I think from the perspective of a pastor like my brother, the problem is that voters have never been properly informed about politicking, political parties, and the candidate that the parties present. In normal clients, in other clients, where politics Nigeria has come to a point that as part of the Nigerian, the parties have their stranglehold on the whole community. So if they bring a conflict, of course they tell you that the vote doesn't even matter. That has not been addressed yet. If my vote doesn't matter and I got it because I'm a Nigerian, it means that a man who was in prison for some heinous crime can become my governor tomorrow. And once he takes the oath, he's sworn in as governor or whatever, he becomes my governor, becomes my chairman, becomes my whatever. It's passed and kept under the carpet. So some of these failures, disappointing experiences are likely to cause voters empathy. Unfortunately, there is in practice nothing like voters empathy in Nigeria, because even if a community has 1,000 people and 3 people went to vote, they return 1,005 election those who voted. If they want to be fair to you, they cancel 3 and take the 1,000. So voters are really incapacitated, insulted, abused, they are violently maltreated. I don't think there's any time that voters will fail to go, because it's part of your citizenship in right to go and vote and then look up to God. I want to say things that I don't know is a question. This question allows. What? Yeah, well, I'll just say quick as part of general view. Well, reduce the cost of elections in all manner of elections. I mean to quote, in my state, knowing that women, decent and good women, notable, they don't win elections against me easily. This local government election coming by governors say women who are going for chairman or whatever will not pay anything. Yes. That means that the women will look for the best among them to go, and women can keep the family. 2, make political office part-time. So those guys go there, if they have no job to do, they don't, when they finish, they go back and become paupers. Make it part-time, put them on fixed salary, remove all those attractive things they put on, they load them with. So that they go there, knowing that they go to serve the nation. To serve people, and now that they do serve people, it's even more than the students will be paid. It's be paid sitting allowance. So that the thing is no longer dubiously attractive as it is today. Okay. Unemployment has the effect on this. It because the well-to-do has pressed down the financially weak for so many years, they don't ever want them to stand up. If there's employment for all, everybody is capacitated one way or the other. The ordinary citizen cannot be over contest running a campaign to successful conclusion, eventually with goodwill, winning and getting the money back. Today, we talk about protest today. When the rich is getting richer with the whole of the family and clans, and those who need to be enriched in a way are sitting there without hope of feeding the children, going to school, paying basic hospital or off-the-counter medication. There will always be protests. So to give everybody the opportunity, make the space open, some policies to be made to reduce the economic hardship that people are going through, and empower everybody to be able to stand apart with the rich and the poor to contest for any elective office. Thank you.
Well, my short story will kind of summarize all this. You all will recall in the last election that almost all obedience got sympathy votes.
Yes.
They didn't have money. A lot of them, I wouldn't mention, I don't want to mention many. A particular one in my state, during his campaign period, he was using 4 liters to buy fuel in his rickety Sienna bus. Sometimes the vehicle would dump him halfway. He would run to the next filling station right here, 4 liters. Now, they all got this sympathy vote. They went straight to National Assembly. And behold, instead of acting in accordance with those that elected them, because we all needed a change by the obedient, they were the first members that accepted the 150 million for cheap. They now belong to the elite group. So what you are not crying here now, you are just on your own. And that takes us back to this defection we are talking about. The rest are sure. Within the next 4 years, more than 2/3 of this person, they would have metamorphosed to the leader, the ruling party, or the next most powerful of the political ruling party. So in all this, having witnessed what we have witnessed from entire initial to now, we know that money has not always been the major reason why people win election. Some without money, they have all won. Those with money, they have won. But our concern is this mindset of saying, oh, this is my turn to turn my life and my immediate family lives around. And in doing that, they will steal so much. Now, they know you are waiting for them in the next election. They know. If you want to come again to the obedient to whom they'll say you have never been obedient, they will control themselves to the ruling party or whichever party they know can get them what they want by buying vote, by using their executive power and all that. Now that takes us back to an independent body who ought to check this menace. And that is this state judiciary we are talking about. Checkmate this cross-carpeting. You will have solved all Nigerian problems. In all my entire life, I didn't see Jesse Jackson cross-carpeting from Democrat to becoming a Republican. Even when he lost his election, he stayed as he remained a Democrat. The reason to that is because the manifesto is so strong. The simple question to ask you, why the sudden twist? You have always preached free, free education at all levels. Why the sudden switch now to Republican that says capitalism is the best system of government? So if we can strengthen our institutions, like I earlier said, that a particular institution, I don't mean political office holder, right? We look at you in the face and say, Mr. Man, this your judgment is faulty. Something must have changed hands. Please step aside. And when you try to cut the judiciary members to size, it is the same, it is those lawyers that will come and, oh, the executive, they have turned the judiciary into something else. If we're able to protect our judiciary, stop the executive from hijacking the positions when the governor have his daughter as a bad person, you remember the senator who once said in the National Assembly when some persons were making trouble? Say, look at you. Some of you here, you came begging me to save your seat. You asked me to get my wife. Now that my wife has saved you, you are coming here to say rubbish. If it's a country where things work, that man will be in jail first for influencing the wife judgment, and the wife, they will open all judgment, all cases she has, and revisit all. I will tell you something is wrong. So not that we should stop this belief that the same people will be the ones to save us from their hand. No, we will be the ones to save us from their hand, because they are now like a confra, I don't know how to put it, confraternity. They will never change. They will never change. They are protecting their empire. That's something I agree.
Thank you very much. So as we conclude, we have taken the mic to Ambassador Joshua. Thank you.
All right, we have other several questions we will ask, but our time has far spent. So it's better we extend the discussion to Abuja and Lagos and Enugu, so that we'll discuss the matter. But I can see from your discussion, you have given proper solutions as much as possible in your discussion. So I would want to appreciate your time and your valuable contribution. We know that this will add value to what we have learned here today, and we will go out there and be ambassador not just of peace, but also of positive change. Where there is need for positive change, you put in your influence to see that there's positive change in our society, and that will benefit us very better. And then for some of us that are close to some of these politicians, when like you, the reverends, they come to you as children, and when they come to you with tithes, tell them, where do you get, ask them, where do you get this tithe? Or where do you get this prophet offering? Do you understand? So that they will go, if you are not sure, refuse it, but you will know that God will feed you. Yeah. So let them take it first. Do you understand? And that will be better. So we should be, anywhere you have an opportunity to tell them what they need to know, just contribute your own part. You tell them, even if they don't do it, you have saved yourself first by telling them. So that's what we should do. Thank you very much for your contribution.
If you bet for it.